Alright, y'all, so this is the spot that has the hole ripped in it. You can kind of see it. It's kind of angled, kind of a little weird. But what we're doing is we're just going to outline it with some painter's tape. And I've got a small section, I've got a small section here, a little bit, give it about a half to 3/4 inch hole here. And then this one is the one that I originally had pointed out, which is give or take 2 inches by 1.5. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use this sealant, and I'm just going to cover that spot. And we're going to try to keep as much as possible having that ridge. And we tried to keep a little bit of an outline with the ripstop. So I'm going to start off, we'll just shake it up, get it nice and mixed. Take this top off. All right, that's not a top, that is a spreader. That's okay. We'll take the full top off. And we're just going to spread it along all of this. And as you see that I'm not exactly even, but what I can do is I can bring this all in and try to cover it as much as possible. And what I'll end up doing is creating a patch, and hopefully I can get that spot to pin down a little bit. I'll actually come over this a few times, but I'm going to try to keep it on that rip, and we'll see how well that works out. There should be a pretty good tackiness whenever you go to remove it. So we're going to leave that as is for now. I'm going to toss this off to the side, and yeah, we'll be back here in about 10-20 minutes and see how it worked out. We should be able to remove that tape, see what it gave us, or put another layer. I'll probably put another layer on because I've got a spot right here that's not acting up, or it's not acting right. So let's see how it works. If not, we'll find another option. Alright, y'all, so slightly different angle from what we did yesterday. I actually had y'all right over here, but I did get my patch to hold right here. I already removed the painting tape that was surrounding it, but so what I ended up doing, y'all saw me pour yesterday's round, is a little thick, so I ended up wiping a lot of it off and just doing 3 thin coats on here, which was obviously the smarter route. But I ended up, see if I can flip this over without knocking my camera around. I taped the back end and I just double stacked, so it's 4 stripes here, 4 stripes this way, with 2-inch painter's tape. It was a pretty good size tear as far as what I was gonna have to create a patch for. So anyway, that is complete for this portion. I'm gonna go to the hardware shop and find some rivets, probably later this evening, and get started on the posts, getting the arms back on. The other part to that is on this side, on the front, is, keep kicking that, is the hole in the skirt here. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, or if I'm going to do that yet, but I'll probably do it the same route. I'll just back it with painter's tape and try to get a good patch on it. Hopefully it'll hold. The main for it is just, you know, obviously you don't want rain collecting in this lip. So there is a use for it. we just got to figure out how to repair that without tearing this entire canvas off. But other than that, at least the patch for here is complete, and that's one less portion to this project. I did upload part 1 of this video this morning. Yeah, that's it for this portion, but we'll see as I get a little further and get the arms, the hold on that side done, and hopefully putting those rivets in, replacing those rivets will fix me up as far as these arms go. This is what we're dealing with. This is the one that's held in by one. There's a metal plate, it sounds like, under this. So I'm hoping that I can connect back into that. We're gonna find out, I guess. All right, y'all, so we're back. It's been like 2 seconds for y'all. It's been 3 days for me. Some of the changes that the updates we've got are, I've got the roof nest mounting brackets kit has come in. So that's great in its own. It actually fits, which I was actually surprised at, because apparently the rails on this versus the Smitty built below me, that is I don't know if it's different or if I was doing it wrong, but either way, I've got my own kit for this tent, and I'll be able to return that to its rightful owner with its own mounting bracket. I've picked up a rivet gun to repair the arms on this front end, and I've attempted to patch the front skirt. Unfortunately, that's not working out as well as I planned, so that's going to be a back burner project. Eventually I'll get around to that, but for the moment, let's see about getting into all this. Sorry, I had to find my remote so I can actually turn this camera off. So I'm going to move the camera to where I'm at, maybe a little closer. I'm going to try to find the mounting bracket that's inside the tent. Like I showed on, I believe, an earlier section of this video, the mounting bracket in the corner has detached. So hopefully it's close enough I can grab it with the rivets or figure something out with a magnet. I believe it's aluminum though, so I doubt that's going to work. We're going to see what happens basically together. I'm going to try a few things, bring it back on, and hopefully it works, and we'll start riveting these arms back in. For an update for what all we have to do is the rivets. I've got one strut that has to be changed out. That's this one back here. I'll be changing that strut out for the 100-pound, the spare 100-pound that I've got. Eventually I'm going to change out the front two to match that 100-pound. I believe it's a 50 that's actually standard on it, but everything's written in Chinese, so I have no clue. So I just went with the 100 pounds, made sure that the links are correct and that it is, basically the same thing, but I was not able to be 100% because I can't read Chinese. Google Translate failed me, but we'll see what happens. Let me reposition the camera. We'll try to replace these mounting brackets, and that'll be the next step for this, and that will probably end part 2. We'll see what happens. I'm probably going to do the replacement strut as its own part, and that way, or not its own part, but it's on part 3 and reassembly. That will be enough for this. I believe that'll put this video, give or take, probably 15 to 20 minutes again. So thanks for sticking around through all these. Let's get into it. All right, so to start with the good news, this bracket actually still has the metal attached to one rivet. I'm not positive on the second one, but I'm going to show you how to do this one. I'll do that one off camera. All we're going to do is grab our Dremel, and we're going to drill this out. After that, or correction, we're going to drill one of the two that are disconnected out, remove it, or remove those two, hopefully be able to figure something out for that third one, or attach those two, leave the third one as is, because it's got a pretty good grip. But that's going to be where I'll rejoin y'all here in just a second. Alright, so what we did is I got one of them to stick. I ended up just drilling out the one. I may drill out another and see if I can make it work. But it seems like this mount goes from roughly right here, so about 4 inches away, to over here, but our fiberglass is rising. So what I may do is I may just take that as a cautionary and say, okay, well that'll work. And I may figure out something, whatever's here. It feels like just a board. I'm not positive what it is yet, but I may figure out something to mend that before I sell it. What I'm doing right now is just trying to make it work for what I'm doing. When it comes to selling, it'll just be something that I make note of and say, hey, this is what's going on. But for right now, it seems like it's fine. There is some play to it, but I think I'll figure out what's going on with it later on. I'm trying to beat a outdoor expo so I can actually have this there, instead of bringing the Smittybilt that is below us right now. I want to try this one out, but that's going to be it for now. I'm going to mend this other side, and like I said, I'll probably mend these two and see what happens. All right, y'all, so I put the other one in, the other bracket. So the other bracket is in. It actually has the metal plate, sorry for the shaking. It has the metal plate actually buttoned up here. So as you can tell, and from the camera, it doesn't move as much. Honestly, this one doesn't move. The one that we had done earlier, you could tell that the metal plate was a little bit less rigid. So I'm assuming somewhere right in here, it actually attaches to the fiberglass. And you can see on the other side, if y'all zoom back, but let's see if I can do this. Get some slack from there. I'll swing y'all over here. You can see this one has plenty of play. So that's just going to be an issue for the moment. I did put one extra rivet in, or an additional replacement rivet, not an extra altogether. Each bracket has 3 rivets in it. One of these I was able to kind of hammer back in. It'll probably let loose eventually, but I'm pretty sure the metal plate will let loose first. But you can tell that this fiberglass is a little looser, and I can actually see spots right here where it's actually coming up. So I'll have to figure that out in the future. All right, y'all, so we just put the brackets in on the front end. We've used this hand riveter. It's a swivel head from Harbor Freight. It came with a handful of rivets. I had ended up buying a rivet kit for it, thinking that I had the right size in my mind. Luckily, the kit actually came, the riveter came with the right size. And that's the 3/16 rivets that were in here. Luckily, that worked out pretty well. But so this project, I could have gotten around $10 for the hand riveter from Harbor Freight. with the rivets that it came with. I ended up doing $20 just because I bought the rivet box set, which ended up being 1/8 of an inch rivets, I believe. Unfortunately, I also opened them, so I can't return them. That's all good. We'll eat that cost. I showed y'all earlier the kit from Roof Nest for the mounting brackets. So that was roughly $55, give or take. It may have been a little bit more with shipping. And talked with Derek from Roof Nest about a few questions I had, since this is basically almost a Sparrow clone. So the Sparrow clone, I should be able to get away with, obviously, their mounting brackets, which I believe are the same as Smittybilt and everybody else, but for some reason the Smittybilts didn't fit right. I may have just had them upside down. Guess what I found out after I got the Roof Nest kit in? But that's not a problem. I needed that kit anyway. So all in all, I believe we're roughly maybe $400 in on rebuilding this kit. And I'll double check that math, but I believe I'm roughly 400. Not a bad deal, seeing as how honestly it's only taken a few days. Most of it's been just footwork, trying to find different parts, but that should be all that I have. We're going to put the mounting arms, the strut arms, back on next round, after I rebuild that strut for the opposite corner, and then we'll be able to put the roof back on. And this project should actually be buttoned up by then. So I'm hoping to be set up for the expo by the beginning of October. We've actually got the expo, by the beginning of September. It is the end of August right now. We've got about a week left. The beginning of October has the outdoor expo through Texas Avid Outdoors, and that'll be running out there. We'll be testing this as far as it being set up. We'll be testing. I've got the EcoFlow River Pro came in. I'm going to build a pigtail and actually run my rack lights, which you can kind of see one or two, but the rack lights, that way I don't have to run the truck in order to power them. I'll have that River Pro to run lighting, to run a fan, because it's still 100 degrees out here in Texas. So we're gonna have all that fun stuff figured up. So it'll be a little bit of an interesting trip. So if anybody else is going to Texas Avid Outdoors, Overland Expo, Outdoor Expo, hit me up in the comments and we'll try to link up out there. Maybe I'll have some signage for my truck by then, we'll see. But just different things, different ideas and events coming up. Obviously it's coming up on the cooler months, so that'll get us out of this garage and into a tent and on the trails. So let's see what all we can come up with. I know I'm planning on doing an Oklahoma trip. We'll see how far I get into that, but I believe that's in November. So if you're up there, let me know. We'll figure something out. I have nothing else. Comments, all that fun stuff.